Hello students, welcome to another biology class. In today's class, we are going to start another phylum of animal kingdom, that is Coelurosauria. In the last class, we have completed the general characters of phylum Porifera, and we are now going to study the general characters of Coelenterata, and also we can compare the characters of Porifera with the Coelenterata, because when we compare the Porifera and Coelenterata, Poriferans are for the more primitive than the Coelenterates, because the characters which they have are primitive characters when compared to the characters of the Coelenterates. We will make out those characters, or we will make the difference between, or we will observe the difference between them at the end of the class. Now we will study the general characters of Coelenterata. Before we start the general characters of Coelenterata, this group or this phylum has comprised around 10,000 species, and the term Coelenterata was coined by the scientist Leucott. So Leucott is the name of a scientist who coined the term the Coelenterates. Coelenterate is a primitive name of this phylum, and recently it's called as a Cnidaria. Now we'll start with the general characters of Coelenterates. So Coelenterates are aquatic animals. They are aquatic animals. First character is they are aquatic animals. So most of them are marine water forms and some are freshwater forms. They are marine water forms and some may be freshwater form. Marine water forms means the animals which live in ocean and sea. Freshwater forms means the animals which live in the sweet water like river, lake, pond, well. So these are called the freshwater forms. Example for freshwater form is Hydra. Hydra is a freshwater form. So this character is more or less similar to the character of Porifera. The second character, they may be free living or free swimming or sessile. They are sessile. Free living means they move within the water body with the help of locomotor structures like tentacles or ciliary like structures. And they may be sessile. Sessile means they fix in one particular point throughout their life. They are not moving here and there unless there is any necessary. If there is any necessary, then only they move. Otherwise, they will fix in one particular point throughout their life, and such condition is called the sessile. We may give example for both free living as well as sessile. So we may give the example for free living. Aurelia is a free living organism, where Hydra, Adamsia, these are the sessile Coelenterates. So we will move to the next character. Coelenterates are diploblastic, radially symmetrical, animals with tissue grade of body organization or tissue level of body organization. So already we have discussed all these technical terms in first class itself only, but one more time we will repeat the same thing. So Coelenterates are diploblastic. Diplo means two. So the whole body of Coelenterates has developed from two germ layers. One is ectoderm, another one is endoderm. So these are the two germ layers from which the whole body has developed. Within these two layers, there is a non-cellular jelly substance between the ectoderm and endoderm, there is a non-cellular jelly substance which is called the mesoglia. This is called the mesoglia. Means the organism which are developed from two germ layers like ectoderm and endoderm are called the diploblastic animals. The second point in this is radially symmetrical. So we have discussed the symmetry of the organisms, where we have come across three types of symmetry: asymmetrical, bilateral symmetrical and radial symmetrical. So Foriferans are the only phylums which show asymmetrical the body shape, and three of phylums of the whole animal kingdom show the radial symmetrical body shape. For example, I will give the example. One is Coelenterata and Ctenophora and Echinodermata. These are the only three phyla which show radial symmetrical, and remaining all phylum of animal kingdom show the bilateral symmetrical. So it's easy to you remember which organism show what type of symmetry. So one more time I will repeat the same thing. Foriferans are the only phylum which show asymmetrical the body shape, whereas Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Echinodermata, these three phyla show the radially symmetrical body organization or shape, and remaining all phylum, whatever phylum you study later in your next classes, they all show bilateral symmetrical. So what is radial symmetrical? So we also came across, but then also we one more time will repeat the same thing. If the organism has circular body structure like this, if any plane passing through the center cut the body into two equal halves, such symmetry is called the radial symmetry. So these coelentrates are radial symmetrical organisms. So next is tissue grade of body organization or tissue level of organization. So in Forifera what we have studied? We studied their organization is cellular level, but here we study tissue level of body organization. So what is the difference between these two words? Cellular means that the organism body has made by many cells, but those cells have associated, they have gathered in one place in the form of an organism body, but there is no coordination between one cell to another cell. There is no coordination between the cells, but all those cells have gathered in one group, but there is no coordination. And such organization is called the cellular organization. We see this type of cellular organization in the phylum Forifera. But in case of Coelenterata, we see the tissue grade of body organization. Here, many cells are come together and they form a group, and that group we call the tissue. Why you call the tissue? Because these cells are not only they are forming a group, and all these cells together perform one particular function. They are performing one particular function, and hence this group is called the tissue. Such tissues are seen in this body. There are 4 different types of tissues I have seen in the Coelentrates phylum. They are muscular, nervous, epithelial, connective tissues like tissues are seen in this phylum. Hence they are called the tissue level body organized animals. Next we will discuss the next character, and that is the Coelentrates have got the name Coelenterata, or there is one more name, Cnidaria. Already I have mentioned this is the primitive name of these organisms, and this is the recently put the name. Why they are called the Coelenterata? Why they are called the Cnidaria? We may give the explanation for these two words. Coelenterata means, seal means cavity. Coelenterata means, seal means cavity. Enteron means gut. Means within their body there is a cavity. Within the body of this organism there is a cavity. This hollow cavity is called the coelentron or gastrovascular cavity. And because of the presence of this coelentron, or gastrovascular cavity, they have got the name coelenterata. And this gastrovascular cavity opens outside through a opening. That opening is called the mouth. And this is the only opening. Means there is no anus. So hence they have incomplete digestive system. And this mouth is situated in the region. That region is called the hypostome. And mouth is encircled with some finger-like projections, and these are called the tentacles. And these tentacles are useful in two ways. First use of this tentacle is to capture the food. Whenever the prey is moving near the organism body, these tentacles are going to be useful to capture the prey or food. Another importance of these tentacles is they can use it as a locomotory structure. Whenever there is a need of locomotion, these tentacles are going to be used by the organism to move within the body. So these are the two uses of these tentacles. Now there is one more word which is describe these organisms, that is cnidaria. So cnidaria word has derived from the word cnidoblast or cnidocytes. This cnidaria word has derived from the cnidoblast or cnidocytes. So cnidoblast means these are a special kind of cells present on body surface as well as on the tentacles. So cnidoblast are the special kind of cells present on the body cells and the tentacles. So these special type of body cells or cnidoblast perform the important function. They are, one is anchorage and defense, and they also used for capturing prey. So these are the three functions which are performed by the cnidoblast. So this is the body layer, enlarged structure of body layer. So this structure is the enlarged structure of body wall of Hydra. Here we can easily see the cnidoblast. So this is the inner surface and this one is outer surface. So inner surface or inner layer we call the endoderm and outer layer is called the ectoderm. On the ectoderm layer we see the some cells. These are called the nematocyst or cnidoblast. So we can also study the structure of nematocytes. They are somewhat oval shaped structure. When they are not in the action state, so their conical shaped structure is present inside the cell and which is surrounded by a flagella-like structure with the piercing tip. This is the structure of cnidoblast. But whenever the prey move around these organisms' body, so this flagella-like structure has thrown through towards the prey to capture the prey. So in this manner, these stinging cells or cnidoblasts are going to be useful for the organism. So they also get protected from their predator also by these cnidoblasts. And they also use these cnidoblasts to hold any substratum. So in this way, these cnidoblasts are going to be useful to the organism. So next, we'll discuss about the different physiological activities of these organisms. So these coelentrates have the digestive system and which is in the form of gastrovascular cavity, which is incomplete form, and they are carnivorous. They are carnivorous. Coelentrates are carnivorous, means they feed on another animals, and the mode of nutrition is holozoic. Mode of nutrition is holozoic. The digestion may be extracellular or intracellular. Digestion may be extracellular or it may be intracellular. In foreference, we have studied intracellular digestion. Intracellular digestion means the digestion which takes place within the cell, inside the cell. If the digestion takes place, that is called the intracellular digestion. So this type of digestion we also see in the foreference. But in coelentrates, there is not only intracellular digestion, extracellular digestion is also there. Extracellular digestion takes place inside this vascular cavity, gastrovascular cavity. So within this cavity, the extracellular digestion takes place. But intracellular digestion takes place inside the nutritive cells. Inside the nutritive cells. And these nutritive cells are present on the endodermis. Within this nutritive cell, intracellular digestion takes place, and these nutritive cells are present on the endodermis. The circulatory, respiratory and excretory system organs are absent, but the respiration and excretion process takes place through body surface by simple diffusion. So these respiration and excretory exchange takes place through body surface by simple diffusion. Nervous system has diffused network of nerve cells. So nervous system has developed slightly when compared to the foreference. So it has developed and it is in the form of the diffused network of nerve cells. And these coelentrates are soft-bodied animals. And their body may be naked or sometimes it may be covered with exoskeleton. These are soft-bodied animals. It may be naked or it may be covered with exoskeleton. Exoskeleton may be in two forms. It may be made by chitinous substance, as in case of Lobelia, or it may be made by calcareous substance or calcium carbonate in animals like corals. So exoskeleton may be chitinous or calcareous. Another very important point of this group of animals is the body of these organisms exists in two different forms. They exhibit two different forms. They have two body forms. Two types of body forms. So one is polyp, another one is medusa. So here what we see in this diagram is a diagram of hydra. So these hydra are good example for polyp, because polyps are sessile, means they are not moving, and they are asexual forms, and their body is in tubular shape. So sessile and tubular we can notice by this diagram, because this is the substratum on which the basal disc of this organism has attached. So it means, it shows that these organisms are not moving and they are asexual forms of coelentrates. And there is one more form, and that we call the medusa, which are free living sexual forms, and they have umbrella shape. The body is in the form of umbrella shape. So for polyp, already I have given example hydra and adamsia, and for umbrella shape jellyfish, or we may also call the orelli. So these are the two forms. So some may exhibit polyp form, some may exhibit medusa form. But there are some organisms in this group which exhibit in both the forms. They may be polyps as well as in the medusa form. And such condition is called the polymorphism. When the same organism express two forms, polyp as well as in medusa form, and such condition is called the polymorphism. Example for polymorphism we see in the obeli. Obeli may be polyp form as well as medusa form, and they have alternation of generation, which we call the metagenesis. This is a very unique character in this group of animals. So this alternation of generation we study in the Obelia. So Obelia's polyp form is tubular, just like a hydra, attached on the substratum. This is sessile, asexual form, and body shape is tubular. And they give rise to medusa forms by asexual process or reproduction. Example, budding. Budding is a type of asexual reproduction by which these polyps are going to give the birth to the medusa forms. These are the medusa forms, medusae, and this is polyp. These medusae form organisms produce gametes. When these gametes, male gametes and female gametes, fuse due to sexual reproduction, the process we call the fertilization, which takes place outside the organism body, hence we call the external fertilization. And this zygote, when undergoes mitotic division, it gives ciliated, free-living larval form. Ciliated, free-living larval form. And that larva is called the planula. The larval stage is called the planula. And when this grows up, it gives the adult form that we call the polyp. And hence the development of this organism is indirect because there is a larval stage. And polyp gives the medusa by asexual reproduction, and medusae gives the polyps by the sexual process. This whole process is called the sexual reproduction. When they reproduce sexually, they give rise to polyp. When they reproduce asexually, they are going to give the medusa. And this type of reproduction is called the alternation of generation, or we used to call with a specific name metagenesis. So this metagenesis we see only in the case of coelenterates, especially in Obelia. So the next is, we'll talk about little bit about the classification of coelenterates. So coelenterates are classified into 3 classes. Three classes are there. First one is hydrozoa. Examples for this group: Hydra, Physalia, and Obelia. Second group is Scyphozoa, Example, Aurelia. And third class is Anthozoa. Example, Adamsia. Adamsia is also called the sea anemone. Sea anemone. So these are the three classes. So which are there in the coelentrates. So here we are finishing general characters. But as I told in the beginning of this class, we may compare poriferans with the coelentrates. So that is easier for us to remember both the both the phylum's character. If you compare both the phylum characters, it is easy for us to remember both phylum poriferans character as well as coelentrates character. Let us write here porifera. Only some of the characters I am going to mention. Here we will write the coelenterata. Poriferans are very primitive organisms when compared to the coelentrates. So here these are also marine water forms. Here also some organisms are freshwater form. Example, Spongilla is a freshwater form of poriferans, and here in coelenterata, Hydra is a freshwater form. So very important characters which differentiate poriferans for coelenterata is, so these are asymmetrical. So you have to remember these technical words. But coelentrates are radially symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical organisms. This is the first difference between porifera and coelenterata. Next difference between these two are, these are having cellular level of body organization. Whereas coelentrates have tissue level of body organization. This is another difference. So here the cavity is called the spongocoele. They have a cavity, that cavity is called the spongocoele. But in coelenterata, the cavity present is called the gastrovascular cavity. The specific character of this group are, the body has numerous pores and they are called the ostia, and there is only one opening on the upper part of their body, that is called the osculum. That one opening in this porifera is called the osculum. But in case of coelenterata, no pores are there on the body surface, but there is one opening on the upper surface that we call the mouth, which is used for both intake of food as well as to remove the digestive waste also, like fecal matter is also removed by this mouth only. So other than this, poriferans, they show the only intracellular digestion. But coelentrates show both intra as well as extracellular digestion. Here the endoskeleton is present, which is made by spicules and spongin fibers in poriferans. But in case of coelenterata, some of the organisms have exoskeleton, which is made by either chitinous material or calcium carbonate. Yeah. So alternation of generation is seen in coelenterata, but such alternation of generation is not there in the poriferans. So we can identify phylums with their peculiar character, distinct character. So to identify the poriferan, you have to keep certain technical words in your mind related with that phylum. For example, if you want to remember or if you want to identify the porifera, you have to keep certain technical words in our mind. Means poriferans have many pores on their body. They are called ostia, and osculum is the only one opening. The endoskeleton is made by spicules and spongin fibers. There is a cavity called the spongocoele, and they are asymmetrical and cellular level of organization. So these are very distinct characters of Porifera. But when we talk about the coelentrates, the distinct character of coelentrates is the very important presence of nidoblast, and second very important character is polymorphism, because the body expresses in two forms, polyp and medusa, and they also show the alternation of generation, what we call the metagenesis. So these are the very important characters of phylum Porifera as well as Coelenterata. So here I am going to finish this class. In next class we will continue with another phylum. Thank you.